Sup, fucker?
Well, Happy New Year's, and how the hell are you?
Happy New Year's to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
As you can see, we're in our new digs.
Bricktastic.
Bricktastic. I'm bricked the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's what the kids say now.
Yeah. New year, new look, you know?
Yeah, I mean, new merch and...
You want a Dave-inci's code sweater, you know?
I love this one because it looks like this guy is Arnold and this guy's Chris Hemsworth, and how they look so much alike.
Well, yeah, this one was supposed to be you, and this one's supposed to be me. Like, two cyborgs just, you know, genetically enhanced to report the news and what's going on.
And be perfect looking specimens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be part of the manosphere, but by my 8-week program, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of goes along with New Year's. You know, everybody's New Year's resolution is always to get into better shape, be battle ready.
Be battle ready.
Yeah, I mean, you can see I got my incline bench over there.
Yep, getting battle ready as we speak.
Some space.
Some weights over here.
Some weights. You know, trying to get Joey swole.
Trying to get fucking swole.
Swole as fuck,
2025.
bro. Yeah, dude. I'm turning 40 this year, so I want to be in the best shape I've ever been in. Good. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm turning 45 this year, and I'm going to be in the roundest shape that I've ever been. No, that's not true. I've been fatter.
Well, I mean, you're in great shape, though. You're strong. You got great cardio. Your labs are good. Like,
yeah, my labs and my flabs. That's what I call my abs. I have flabs, dude.
Yeah, me and Scott were talking about it the other day, and it was like, there's a difference between like a fat person and a big dude. Like a big dude, you know, is strong and they're actually healthy, and then a fat guy is just a fucking fat guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've always seen you as a big dude. Like, I wouldn't want to fight you. You'd fucking kill me.
No, I don't. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Still,
I have been known to lose my temper and throw things around, though. So, I don't know. If I did get mad, I wouldn't fight you. I'd just, like, throw a chair.
Yeah, that's where I got
Not at you, just, like...
in my general vicinity. Just stay still, you'll be safe.
Yeah.
It's
don't
like
move. He can't get you if you don't move.
its vision is based on movement.
Yeah.
You're like, where'd you go?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's always good to try to, you know... I don't really care about being slim or, like, whatever, dude. As long as I can still move around. That's my biggest thing, is just I don't want to get old and not, like, trip on the fucking crack in the sidewalk and break my hip.
Yeah.
Which is coming up pretty soon, dude. I only have about 10 good more years.
Yeah, I just want to be able to have, like, good longevity. I want to not just wake up and be like, oh, everything hurts, or, you know, have kind of the typical old people things, because I recently found out that your metabolism doesn't actually slow down until you're in your mid-60s.
Yeah.
So if you're in your 40s or 50s and you're just getting fat, it's because you're sedentary.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be able to have energy, and I want to be able to feel good, and I want to be able to look in the mirror and go, hey, I don't look terrible naked.
Yeah. I think a big thing with that also is, like, trying to fall out of the habit of falling into a routine. Like, I think that's what a lot of people do, is, like, you know, you make it to 40 years old and you're doing the same thing that you've done for 20 years. Your body gets used to doing that, and you get pretty efficient at doing the things that you do pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So, like, things that used to take you more energy, you're used to doing, and so now your body's more efficient at doing those things, and so switching it up every once in a while is a good thing, I think.
I think so, and I mean, just to point out what you said, like, your body can get pretty efficient at eating fucking potato chips, or it can get pretty efficient at doing push-ups.
Yeah.
It's just pick one.
Yeah, I just tend to do both of them. I'll do
Yeah.
a bunch of push-ups and then, like, oh, fuck, crack a beer and eat some potato chips.
It's all about balance in life.
Balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanos would approve.
Yeah. I think that's what I need to start working on this year, is more like instead of strength training, more like mobility and like stretching type shit. Maybe yoga. Maybe I'll do Pilates.
Pilates, yeah. A little Mom Beach bod.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna work on my twerking.
Like roly Pilates.
Roly Pilates. You heard it here. It's coined.
Yep.
Say it. Say the phrase.
Roly Pilates.
You gotta say print it.
Oh. Print it.
Yeah, that's your phrase.
That's a wrap.
I can't say that one. So I was thinking we could do kind of a year in review doing this podcast and talk about some of our favorite episodes, maybe some of our not so favorites, some we'd like to do a reboot on, and just talk about overall kind of New Year stuff, resolutions, things like that.
Yeah.
So the way this ended up panning out, so when I started doing this, I didn't have to work any overtime, but you were working a lot of overtime, so I thought, well, I'll just start doing this podcast thing, and then every time I can get you in on it, like perfect. And then if opportunities arise with other people that have some kind of specific background in a topic or whatever, like I'll do it with them, and however it worked out. And I realized like really early on that platform was not going to work, because I realized that like a lot of this requires the chemistry that you and I have and the ability to have the conversations we have, because I've had conversations with other people where you're not there and I go, God, this kind of sucks. It's not everybody, but there's a few people.
Yeah.
And so it really quickly morphed into just like a Dave and Spencer show. And I honestly could not see it working any other way. There's that little part of me that goes, I wish we had just started with that, but fortunately, it didn't linger too long in that kind of purgatory. But it was a new thing. Like,
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was doing. I was literally winging it, and it worked out,
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed the episodes that you did. So it was like the first, well, I guess I was on the second one. So there was like 7 or 8 that I wasn't in on. But I enjoyed those as well, listening to them.
They were fun to do, but it was at a time where it was like I was still trying to find my footing.
Yeah.
So, and I haven't listened to them in a long time, but I can think back on them and I go, okay, these are all the things that I did wrong comparative to how I do them now. And I go, it's kind of a growing pain, and I'm glad I went through it.
Yeah.
That first episode was honestly really cool, sleep paralysis.
It was.
Very interesting, still one of the more popular episodes.
Mm.
And that's definitely one I would like to revisit, especially knowing that a lot of other people that we know have sleep paralysis and have actually come up and talked to me about it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, dude, we could just do like a series of that, of just probably 3 or 4 full episodes of people talking about that.
I think for sure, and that's one thing that we have done in the past is, finding people in our lives, some people from work that have had some experiences, and then bringing them in and having them give their firsthand, experiences. I thought was super cool. Like,
Oh yeah.
Having Stitch come and tell his stories, and Timmy come and tell his stories.
That was still one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
Just because that whole, you and I barely even talked.
Yeah.
We just like let him do his thing and let him, tell his stories and things like that. And you could tell it was kind of a catharsis for him. But like the whole time I felt really twisted up, but I was still super entertained by these stories. And it was like a fucking 4-hour episode.
Yeah.
And I couldn't wait to get it out, so I just published it that day.
Mm-hmm.
Which in hindsight is one of those mistakes, like doing bonus episodes and things like that, where on the weeks I've had no content, where if I hadn't have done that, I could have stretched it out and had no gaps in the whole year. But
Right.
yeah, that episode was super fucking cool.
Yeah. So what was it? Ended up being 40 episodes this year? 40?
I think 41.
41. Which is, I mean, what is there, 52 weeks in a year, which
Yeah.
that's pretty good. I mean, but you see like other podcasts and they're like part 1 and part 2, you could definitely, cut up some of those longer ones.
Oh, for
And
sure.
it might be more ingestible for some people that don't want to sit through a 4-hour conversation, but like, I like that.
I do too if it's with the right people.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a lot easier when it's a specialist on a certain topic or like celebrities or things like that. Because the whole podcast space used to be about normal people,
Mm-hmm.
and then celebrities just took it over. And, I still listen to like Joe Rogan and a couple of the others, but for the most part, I don't go out of my way to listen to like Michael Rosenbaum's Inside Your Head, where he just talks to actors, or Dax Shepard, where he talks to celebrities. Like, this is our space, motherfucker. You guys have all of TV.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really. The only thing I really watch on celebrity type shit is like, there's one paranormal show where they talk to celebrities who have had like paranormal experiences. But it's them more being real people, just talking about their experiences. But I think it's just because I'm into that type of shit and I want to hear people's stories.
Well, and it also helps that because I've seen the show and it's largely like B and C list celebrities.
Yeah.
You're not getting like whoever's popular, Kim Kardashian or whatever. You're not getting people like that on there.
I was walking through my mansion and I saw a ghost.
It was the ghost of Bruce Jenner's dick. That's terrible. He was just like, remember me!
Ooh. No, yeah, I mean, even the less popular listened to episodes that are, people probably didn't enjoy. I fucking love the D&D ones. And I don't know if it's just because, like, it's us and we're there playing this game.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing make-believe. But I love listening to. I've listened to some of those like 3 or 4 times.
I haven't listened to all of them. I think there's 1 or 2 I haven't, because it's at the time before we were doing video and all that. It was just like I'd start the recording right before we started, and then ended it when we ended it. So I had no editing to do, unless Yeg dropped a word that should not have been said on the podcast. Other than that, I never had to edit them, so I never went back and listened to them. Versus now doing like the video stuff, I have to go through and edit it, so I hear the whole thing again. But there's a couple of them that I have gone back to and listened to multiple times, just because you kind of get like a nostalgia thing of like, remember being there and how fun it was. Yeah. Even on the ones where it's like you take a turn and it's like a 90-second turn, and then I get a turn and it's 90 seconds, and then Yeg does one and it takes 9 minutes. So wait, can I do this? And then Scott's like, I don't know. Let me flip through the book. And
in reality, the first one was hard to get through because it was like us just figuring out how to like select a character and stuff. But I mean, for the people that don't know what D&D is, I think that I think it's kind of necessary. Or maybe even for the people that do play, it might be kind of a funny thing to watch.
I think there's definitely a niche audience for it.
Yeah.
And it's something I'm really kind of batting around trying that again. But I think it'd be way more fun in the visual format, with cameras and recording it. But that's a lot of editing, If you sit and play for 3 hours and you have, let's say, 4 camera angles, like, that's a lot of effort.
Yeah.
But I do think, that first episode was necessary. And I remember recording that first episode, and for like 45 minutes I was just like like I even drank a little too much that time because I was just bored, but it's so funny that we started actually playing the game and we got so into it that it was like, let's cancel the rest of the plans and do another episode.
Right.
That's how entertaining it is that you went from being like just paralyzed by boredom to like, can I like not do my, adulthood things and just do this the rest of the day?
Right.
And it was great. And most of the other episodes were the same way. It was just like, kind of get through that slog or that first like 15 minutes or, just let the beer kick in, and then it's just like, I'm having a great fucking time with this.
Right.
And that's kind of what I want to recapture with it, but make it a little bit more palatable for other people to watch or listen to.
I mean, we could do some, a little more set design, I guess, and like ambiance with video.
Yeah. Well, and I think that there's a lot more nuance you can capture with a video.
Yeah, for
with
sure.
a game like that, especially if you're using, the props in the game board and things like that, or you're looking at somebody's face while they're like, all right, this is what the fuck I'm gonna do, And
maybe that's what it is for me. Like listening to it, I can remember like being there and watching all of it happen, and it's just funny. I think it's entertaining.
Yeah,
I don't know how well that translates to people that weren't there, but like, I thought it was hilarious.
It was a lot of fun. It really was, and that was a thing where I even thought for a long time like D&D, that's too nerd for even me.
Yeah.
And then I started doing it, and I was like, I get it. Fuck. I really don't want to be a D&D nerd, but you got me.
I'm in, dude. I'm in. Fuck it. Son of a bitch, I'm in. Yeah. But speaking of like, having other people come and be guests on the show, I think that moving forward, if there's people out there that are listening to this thing that want to come and tell their story.
Absolutely. Even if there's just a subject you want to talk about, or you feel like you have something to add to it, like, hit me up. Not everybody's invited, because there's some people that think they're really smart and intellectual, and they're not. I'll try to be easy on you, but no, I really think going forward, that's kind of the winning ticket, because we have these episodes where it's just you and I, and we talk about these specific things, and those are great. Those are honestly my favorite episodes, even though they're not popular, they're not doing well, but talking about shit like Dugway or New Orleans or whatever, like those were fun because you get the research to go into it,
right,
that you can sit and do by yourself, and then you get to sit down and like share these things that we talk about, and there's such a strong knowledge base from both of us doing research that it's like, now we can crack jokes and just talk shit and tell these stories, but still have fun with it, without it just being like, and then he entered the church, like no boring shit. It's just like, oh dude, Comte Saint Germain, this guy was fucking weird.
Yeah, it's definitely, I've talked about that on numerous episodes where it's, one of my favorite things is doing the research, and then really like being interested in something and then looking into it, going into a deep dive. Like you have I think that everybody does that. Like they go on a rabbit hole of just like,
oh, absolutely,
stupid shit on TikTok or YouTube or whatever. But doing it with a purpose is a little bit more like, I still get sidetracked into some fucking weird shit.
But it's rewarding.
But yeah.
And it's a very focus-based thing, because I'll go down rabbit holes on random shit that I find, but it's like, you don't come across these random topics that pique your interest often enough to keep you entertained, versus if you're like, okay, next week we're going to talk about Dugway. You have a week to prepare for it, So for at least 3 of those days, you're just like a crack addict, just like Dugway, writing everything down and consuming every piece of knowledge you can, or whatever the topic is. But it helps you kind of like focus that cat brain part of you that goes, I have to learn everything I can,
right,
because I have a purpose to do it.
Yeah. I just want to go through as much as I can, so that if you bring up a topic and I'm just not sitting there like, what the fuck is that? There's been a few of those that are like, I don't know who that is, you gotta tell me.
And vice versa, because I think there's always some episodes where it's like, I didn't prep, but you way prepped, or vice versa, and it's like one of us is kind of leading that conversation, and I think that works out so well, because two minds are better than one, you know.
Well, also, it's even like when you're looking into something, you almost pigeonhole yourself into like going in one direction, and then so you start talking about something, and then like if I'll start talking about something, then you ask a question, and it's like,
Ah, shit!
I never even thought about that. Let's fucking explore that whole side of it. Like,
Well, there's also certain topics that I found that I really thought would be really cool and interesting, and then I start doing the research and I find myself bored with it. Like, I'm not even that interested in this.
yeah,
But then we sit down and have the conversation, and you've learned a lot more about it than I have, and I get to listen to you talk about it, and then I become re-interested in it in a different way, because maybe you were looking at different data points than I was,
Yeah.
you know? Or it's like Montauk, for example. I felt like I had a really solid grasp on that one, because it took me forever. Like I said, I had to make a fucking flow chart and everything to understand it, and at the end you were like, I still don't understand the timeline. But I did, and that kind of felt rewarding.
right.
Not like in a you didn't try way, but it was like, oh fuck, I got this one. I
Yeah.
figured it out, you
Yeah.
know.
And that was something that I was like, I need to sit down and write down days so I can see it in a linear perspective. But then I was like, yeah, fuck that, dude. I'm just gonna wing it. We'll do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. Yeah, I really would like to get more people in on it, not just in terms of topics, but I've been kind of working on a list of people that have interesting things to talk about, not necessarily topics. And one, for example, is like the dudes who own the airsoft store here in Salt Lake, and they own the one in Layton as well. I'd love to get those guys in here and just sit and talk about like the evolution of their business,
Yeah.
because it didn't start as airsoft, it started as something else. And those two guys really didn't even know each other, and now they're full business partners. So it's things like that I find interesting.
Yeah.
Because again, I don't want to hear celebrity stories. I don't want to hear celebrities talk when I can listen to way more interesting people
Yeah.
that I feel a little bit
Actual
more related
real
to.
people.
Yeah.
That
It's
have
like-
real life experiences.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, if your bank account is more than 7 digits, we don't have a lot in common. So it's like people who have started businesses or independent ventures and things like Kara, you know, we talked about doing an episode with her
Yeah.
to talk about kind of her genesis of her business, and that's still something we should do. In fact, that should probably be the first one, really. But things like that I find so much more interesting than, this is how I prepped for the role. I worked out for 9 months and took a lot of steroids.
I stayed in my house for 7 months.
I kept a journal. I was on prescription drugs. Like, I didn't, like that stuff is interesting in and of itself, but it's not interesting enough for me to seek it out.
That's just so obtuse from real life. I mean, it's so outside of anything that I can even imagine.
Yeah, and it's not. Some of it's interesting to a degree, but a lot of it just is, to me, very, very pretentious.
Yeah.
Like, you get paid millions and millions of dollars to pretend to be somebody else. You got motherfuckers out here doing it for free
Yeah.
because they just don't know who they
Yeah.
are. So it's like,
True.
I have like almost no sympathy for actors and things like that. Like, you guys are rich.
Yeah.
You could do one movie and just retire, you know? But to me, I like hearing normal people's stories, or people who rise above or have an interesting career path or things like that. And I don't want that to mean like I want to talk to cops and firefighters and EMT or people like that. Like, more stuff that I could relate to easier is more interesting.
Yeah.
Like, people whose their path and mine is one turn away from each other.
Right.
Like, I could have taken this one left step and I would be that person,
Right.
you know? I just think that's so cool.
It is, and it's something that I don't think a lot of people think. I mean, people probably think about it, but not in the space of like, yeah, I could be doing something great, and I just didn't take the opportunity to try it. And it's like, maybe talking about it will get people inspired, or even inspire ourselves to do, you know,
Absolutely. I mean,
take those types of steps.
even just doing this, it's so strange, and I'm sure you've came across this too. When I never like go out of my way to be like, "Hey, did you know I have a podcast?" Because it feels very cringy.
Yeah.
But when somebody else was like, "Oh, have you checked out Dave's podcast?" and they're like, "Wait, you have a podcast?" Or somebody will be like, "I've never known anybody who's had a podcast." Like, "Hey, high five!
Yeah.
I'm right here." You
Yeah.
know, it's kind of in that same vein of you doing whatever creative endeavor you're doing, and somebody else seeing like, "Oh, you're just a normal dude." That means I could do it too.
Yeah.
You know, that means I could go make ghost hunting videos, or I
Right.
could go just film me and my friends doing stupid shit and, you know, get something out of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, speaking of doing ghost hunts, I mean, those were some of my personal favorite episodes. Like I said, just because of the things that we learned and the things that we experienced, like firsthand, as opposed to like watching a ghost video on TV and just like, why is this person freaking out? Like,
Yeah.
and I can, you know, going and doing it. Okay, well, going down into this basement. I know there's no ghosts down here, but like,
I'm still freaked out.
it's still creepy.
Yeah. Well, and I liked the episodes we did to do the follow up with that because
Yeah.
for one, it's multimedia tying together. So
Mhm.
you get a YouTube video where you can watch it, and then if you're, you know, enthralled by it or entertained, and we all know that feeling like when you find a movie or a series or like a song or something, and you want more like that but not the same thing, where this is providing that.
Yeah.
And we get to inject truth into it and give the details regarding that aren't in the video of like, since I've had time to reflect or since I reviewed the footage or whatever, you can talk about it in that podcast and it's directly tied to that video.
Yeah. Another tie-in, if there's people out there that are watching this or listening to it, if you have a haunted house, let us come and piss all over it, dude. Paranormal Investigation Super Squad.
Piss!
Not actual, like, we're not going to pee-pee on your house or anything.
I
But
mean, unless you want us to, I'm not going to kink shame, but if that's the cost of admission,
I guess, I mean, we'll go for it.
I couldn't imagine somebody being like, "Hey, will you guys christen my house with your pee?"
We'd be honored. Yeah, let us know. I mean, that's something that, you know, we'll get on the topic of like talking about like doing these ghost hunts, and people will be like, "Dude, my house is super haunted. This is what I see." Oh yeah, let us come and film. Well,
Yeah.
stop being a bitch, dude.
So what you're saying is it's not really haunted.
Yeah,
You just made that shit up to seem cool. Don't do that. Nobody likes that.
we're not gonna say it's not haunted or haunted. You know, we might just say, "Hey, we were there. We drank a bunch of beers. We owe you some beers." But yeah, we didn't see anything. I passed out like 2 hours into it, so
Yeah. Scott never showed.
yeah, Scott never showed. Reoccurring theme. It's gonna be different though now this year.
It is. And obviously, you know, for the audience, you can see we're in our studio. Even that feels kind of hard to say because it's like, I'm in a studio. This is where I create my art. But that's really what it is.
Yeah.
I like to call it home base or something cool because now it is a little bit more central.
We'll call it Satan.
Satan?
Yeah, just like on Skinwalker Ranch. This is our home base.
Home base, yeah. Satan. I did it.
They call the computer room Satan. And
Yeah,
yeah.
the nerve center.
The
is
nerve
it?
center, yeah.
But yeah, it is a little bit more central for other people, you know.
Oh, for sure.
So it's definitely going to help, and it is a dedicated space just for that. Or you know, even if we were going to do D&D, we have space for a table, and I know that you know computer chairs are just for today, but like collapsible chairs to keep floor space open, and everything we're going to need is going to be in here eventually, and just being able to have a more centralized spot where we can all get together, or
Yeah.
if you know, like Yeg lives way out in fucking Farmington or whatever, like it's easier for him to commute here, or Scott's 15 minutes away from me, so he could come over here and things like that. I think it's going to help in the long run to be able to make not just more podcasts, but more content altogether.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree. I concur.
I concur, sir.
Yeah, and you know, where we were at previously out at my house in frickin' BFE Tooele, Stansbury Park, I always knew that it was kind of a fucking pain in the ass for everybody to get out there.
I enjoyed going there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, to me, I really looked forward to it, because it's like, for one, I'm getting out of the house.
Yeah.
I get to go see my homie, and we're going to go do a fucking, podcast, and we're going to hang out and drink some beers and things like that. The only time I ever really had issues with it was, like, if we're having a good episode or whatever, and I have to cut it off because I got to go pick up my kid from school.
Yeah.
And then it was like a 45-minute drive, and it seemed like every single time, 20 minutes into it, I really have to take a piss. It was like clockwork. Like,
Yeah. And there's nowhere to stop.
not really.
Yeah.
There's one gas station on the way to the school, but it's one of those where you have to go ask for the key, and I hated it.
Just go piss on the back of the wall.
Well,
Not at the school.
But you're
might
still
get
in the
trouble
school
for that.
zone, because there's Valley Junior Highs right there. So if you're like within 1,000 feet and you piss on a wall, you're technically on the list.
You're on the list. Whatever you can do to stay off the list, let's do that.
I don't know. My daughter's getting older, so now she wants to have friends over and have sleepovers. I'm kind of thinking about getting on the list just so I can not have to deal with it.
Yeah, your friends can't come over.
See that sign in the yard? I had to go to all the neighbors and give them a card, like. But no more trick-or-treaters, ever.
Yeah.
The benefits are just stacking up, dude.
Get on the list, bud.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty pumped for, having a dedicated space and like everything's set up. It's gonna be cool.
It is going to be cool, and this is just like the rough draft we've got going on here, and like I can hear like the difference in acoustics with this paneling here, and I just ordered some more. And just having it all to where it's like nobody has to pack or move anything. Like the only thing anybody has to move to be able to do anything is like a case of beer. Make it simple.
Maybe shuffle a chair around. To do that.
Yeah, now it's just about like we need some more cameras and just shit like that, and all in due time,
Yeah.
If we ever start actually getting those views to where we can start, getting money, that'd be cool.
So, what would you say was your favorite episode?
That's tough. Yeah, I don't know. I think the last two that we did were two of my favorites, just because it was like, sometimes we'll get two in a day and it's like one is a banger and the other one is just not as good, where it felt like both were really good.
Mm-hmm.
And especially, with the men's mental health stuff, where I can look back on the first episode we did versus the second one we did, and I could see a huge growth in my own character, and not just being bitter and angry to being like, I don't know how to articulate it, but just, having a better sense of self and a better sense of my own person was really cool for me personally. The Manosphere one was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I got you to belly laugh for a change, and I was really proud of that.
Yeah, I've watched that clip probably like 100 or 200 times because it's just so perfect. Like that voice is Oh man,
We never liked those Deagle dorks anyway.
so perfect, and I laugh every time. Yeah, I think that again, like I think one of my favorite episodes was the recap of Phenomicon.
So the only thing about that is that that one was a video only.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know at the time how to translate that into audio. And I keep telling myself I need to go do it, but then I kind of go like, we're at the end of the year. It is what it is. You know, I encourage anybody to watch the video anyway because you get like the reenactments and stuff like that, and the pictures, and I'm gonna toot my own horn. That very like touching ending.
it was very.
So I felt really proud of that video because we went and did this thing and it was a lot of fun, and then we had a really great conversation about it, and then all the extra stuff that I got to put in it was just like, this is really what the show is. Like this is what it's all about, you know. So I got to put that one right up there, honestly.
But yeah, I tend to like appreciate more of the things that we go and do, and like then sit down and talk about it. But even like the demonic possession one, I think was the first one that we did just you and I together. Because it was like the 9th or 10th episode.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think somebody else was supposed to be there.
Supposed to be Yeg.
And then Yeg didn't show up. And then so it was just you and I. But like, that was the first one where I really felt like I had to do a lot of research for and like get some actual facts or actual data points and stuff like that, which kind of really opened my eyes to what I should be doing for these episodes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I felt a lot of the same way because I really delved deep into it because I wasn't relying on somebody else for the subject matter. Or even when we did Skinwalker Ranch, it was like I had notes, you had notes, Scott was there. But he had some history and some knowledge and things like that. So it was like I never felt I had to like shoulder most of the content until that episode where it was 50-50, you know.
Yeah.
But that's also when it was like, this is the way this should be. You know, we're having this conversation, we're presenting facts and data, and we're also cracking wise and things like that. And I do remember in that episode, I went on some weird tangent about religion or something like that, and I was like, well, that was stupid. Let's not do that again. But yeah, that was like one of the first episodes where I was like, wow, that felt really complete.
Yeah.
Like, came in, said what we had to say, and still had personality and things like that in it without it just being a boring, like we're reading a script thing.
Right.
And that's most of how I knew, like, this is how this needs to be done.
Yeah.
And again, you know, 9th episode, so you're talking 2 months and 1 week into the whole series, and it was like, if we found footing that quick, great.
Yeah. And that's usually how it goes for most of the episodes. Like, I'll take a bunch of notes, just like the one that we just did earlier about UAPs and stuff. Whereas I had like 6-7 pages of notes of like all these things, but I hardly ever go off the note. I didn't even look at the book. I didn't even look at what I wrote down. After we got done, I picked up my book and looked through there, and I was like, oh yeah, we kind of covered everything that I had in here anyways. So
it's easy with one of those subjects that you've just been invested in for so long that you're like, I kind of don't need to. Like, let me get a refresher. And like last night, I watched some videos, and then basically from the moment I got up this morning, it was just like, let me watch some more videos and clips and things like that, and just kind of bring all that to the forefront of my mind. And I was able to just go off of it, you know, versus like some of the episodes I felt like I kind of dropped the ball on were more like New Orleans or vampires, you know, where in some of those, I had the notes and I just forgot the notebook. And then some of them, it was just like, I just probably wasn't feeling it that day, you know?
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, we bring enough to the table each that no matter what, we're going to get this done.
Yeah. And definitely not trying to like scare people off that might be interested in coming and talking to us. You don't have to prepare a bunch of notes and shit like that.
No, especially if it's a subject matter thing for just you. Like,
Yeah.
that's perfect. We'll,
Yeah.
we'll just sit and ask you questions.
Yeah.
Which is, to me, a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just picking each other's brains about stuff that we've experienced personally, or like with the Timmy situation or Stitch, like we just sat there and talked a bunch of shit with each
Yeah.
other and then listened to their stories and asked some questions about it.
Or even the one with Jessica.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, tell your stories, and then we kind of ask questions just to keep those stories going, or, you know, maybe in some way to kind of dispel or understand better. But I think those things were really interesting because it's like people have these crazy experiences that they've had, and they don't want to hear, you know, they don't want to hear us be like, well, let me tell you about mine. Like, you
Yeah.
could listen to all those. Like,
Yeah.
this is your hour. You get to talk, you
Right.
know?
So for you, has there been any episodes or any of the topics that we've covered that have made you change your mind about things, like, or given you a brand new perspective or a different feeling about it?
I would say the easy one to go to is women's mental health, especially going into that one with the full acknowledgement that, like, I don't understand a woman's perspective, and that's why I'm doing this. So getting to learn things and listen to women talk about their perspective on their own mental health was definitely kind of eye-opening. There's a lot of that I assumed already, but then there was things that I got to learn. But again, that just goes with the perception that I'm coming into this conversation with nothing to add. I'm here to learn this one, not predicate or be like, no, that can't be true. You know, because
right.
that's not fair. Like, I'm not a woman. I don't know, you know. What
Yeah.
about you?
Definitely, the women's mental health one was very eye-opening. And a lot of the, most of the research that I did for that one was just kind of like a history on women's mental health, which was, for me, super eye-opening just to see how little work has been done
Oh, yeah.
in women's mental health and health in general.
Just to
Like,
see that doctor's prescription was an orgasm.
yeah, you just need more orgasms. That's fucking wild, man.
Which is totally backwards. It should be men need more orgasms and women need somebody to listen to.
Well, I think that men have a history of getting plenty of orgasms. They just do it themselves. Like most guys just fucking jerk off daily, and that's kind of a normal thing, and everybody knows that. And so, like,
Yeah.
I think that women should just do that too. Like, I don't know why they don't. But I'm not a woman, so I can't. I know that, like, my wife tells me that sex is a totally different experience for a woman because it has a lot to do with, like,
emotional connection.
But it's like, yeah, but your hormones kind of, if you don't release those hormones, they build up over time. For me, anyways, I would assume the same for a woman, but like I said, I'm just mansplaining shit now.
I think that term is so stupid.
Yeah.
You're mansplaining. No, I'm explaining. It just happens that I'm a man.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to oversimplify it. This is just the reality,
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get into that one. I'm going to leave it alone. We'll save that for the sequel episode to women's mental health.
I mean, we'll just do a mansplaining episode where we can explain all the shit that women don't understand.
Dude, we should just put out like an open call for women to ask questions about men, and we'll just mansplain the fuck out of it.
Yeah. we can just dunk on ourselves in a parody of like mansplanations.
Listen here. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, I think another one was maybe the one that we got shadow banned for.
I was going to bring that one up too, because specifically there was things that I had learned about 9/11 that I didn't know before. Like you were telling me about how Bush and Bin Laden and those guys were all part of the same financial group. And I didn't know that. So after reviewing that episode before I posted it, I went down the fucking rabbit hole on that, and I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Even more evidence.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, that one got shut down on YouTube.
Hate speech.
Hate speech.
Which I don't remember speaking any hate. We were just tossing theories around.
Yeah, but you know how the man doesn't like that.
Yeah.
They're just like, wait, you're questioning me? No, stop.
Yeah. Ban these guys. These guys are terrorists.
I loved how when I looked at the email, I'm looking at it and I'm trying to read it, and it's written so retardedly. And it's like, I don't get it. So I go to the page and I look at it, and there's a message from YouTube saying at 1 hour 38 minutes 02 seconds, whatever the timestamp was, there's hate speech there. And so it says you can still view this video, but nobody else can. And I look at the video, and the video is 1 hour 38 minutes and 2 seconds long. It's like, so in the very last second of the video, there's hate speech. I don't understand.
The whole entire thing was hate speech.
Yeah, it just lasted 1 hour 38 minutes and 2 seconds.
Yeah, that was this is where the hate speech ended when the episode ended.
I mean, to be fair, there was some off-color jokes in that one. Like, I started the episode by saying 9/11 was my favorite holiday, so
yeah, you can see how that could be frowned upon by certain people.
it made T cringe like instantly. You laughed. That's all that mattered.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit.
I thought it was funny.
Obviously, it's not my favorite holiday. It's just
again, that was one of those things that like was very eye-opening doing the research for that. Like I'd heard the conspiracy theories, but doing a deep dive and kind of looking for myself for the evidence of like following the money trail and like
yeah.
It does present a case of like an ulterior narrative or a different narrative,
Well, even just being able to dispel some of the conspiracy stuff of jet fuel can't burn an I-beam or this or that, or the wind tunnel factor created from the elevator shaft, things like that, was very interesting to me to go into the architectural science of it, because I had never delved into anything like that, so I didn't really understand, which is why for a long time on that subject I didn't have a lot to say because I didn't know. And I'm kind of the same way. I'm like on like JFK. I don't know enough about that to have an opinion, and I've always thought about researching it, but then I'm like, if it's an episode I'll do it, but if not, somebody killed that guy. It sucks. I do still think T's opinion on the whole thing was very weird to me, and I'm not trying to have a confirmation bias of like I'm right and he's wrong. It was just kind of a weird way of looking at it, of this one building that's unrelated was an inside job and it was blown up, but the other two,
the rest of it wasn't.
Yeah, it just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
His theory, and I'm sure he's got his reasons. I'm not hating on him. I still can't wrap my mind around his logic behind it.
Well, I could see that. For me, what to me, what he was saying was that they took a horrible situation and used it as an opportunity to get rid of some shit that they wanted to get rid of. And it's like, okay, well...
But you can count that,
so,
but discredit this other stuff.
Yeah,
It doesn't add up.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if we have to preface every episode that we do with like, these are just our opinions.
Maybe on big ones like that,
Yeah.
or even JFK or something like that. Like, we should just maybe say like, hey, this is all our opinion. This is all just us talking. You know, we're not pointing the finger.
I know we come across as experts in these,
which we are,
subject
but not on
matters,
that.
But
We're experts on paranormal and UAPs
yeah,
and drinking beer.
and drinking beer especially, you can do that with the finest.
So, what's an episode you'd like to do a reboot of?
A reboot. So we've done a reboot before. I think we definitely have to take, maybe it's not a reboot, but a sequel to the Phenomicon episodes.
Definitely a sequel.
I don't know if there's any of them that I would like to do an actual reboot on, more so than just a continuation of. But yeah, like Skinwalker Ranch, I think that there's a lot of stuff that we can talk about there still. UAPs is a definite ongoing
Oh yeah.
thing. Men's mental health is ever changing with, personally, for both of us and with everybody in society. Women's mental health, I don't think that they should be rebooted, but like definitely continued.
For sure. And part of the reason I asked that was a bait question, because I don't think any of them should be redone per se, but I think they should be revisited.
Yeah.
And like men's mental health, where you have Men's Mental Health Month in June, but then you have Movember, where it's like those 2 months, there should definitely be an episode for that subject in both months. Or Women's Mental Health Month, you know, whatever month that is. You know, do a new one with that, or maybe like a series of them, you know, where you can get, let's say you and I and 2 other women sit down and discuss it, and then they do an episode, and then we could do another episode with 2 other women or whatever. Or bring in different men for men's mental health. But the other ones are, sequels, you know, another Phenomicon episode, or part 2 of Vampires, or whatever it is. I mean, I think the only episodes we could possibly do, like reboots of, would be like Dugway or Area 51, where we get another person in who has more information.
Yeah.
And we can kind of redux it a little bit without just being like, forget about the last one, because there's still good stuff in the last one.
Yeah. I think there was, I mean, like there's a lot of stuff, like we look at like Area 51, and you and I both have kind of been following, you know, alien UFO stories, Area 51 stories for a long time.
Yeah.
And so like there's a lot of those things that we, as people who are interested in that, kind of think of as like common knowledge for people that are into it.
Yeah.
But like I'll talk to people outside of, you know, they're not really super into it, and like, oh yeah, just like this and that in Area 51. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know about Area 51? Like Roswell?
Does it ever make you feel like 50% super nerd and 50% super genius when you bring up something like that, and they're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then you have to explain it to them.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I'm so confused.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't teach you this in the 5th grade? Like,
well, even so on Christmas we went to my brother's church, and we had like family party. And at one point I was sitting out in the foyer just talking to 2 of my brothers, and one of them is like pretty into like UFO type shit, and so we were kind of having a conversation. My other brother came and sat down, and he's like, wait, what are you guys talking about? Oh, we're talking about the drones and stuff being seen over New Jersey. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, are you not in the loop of any social media?
fucking nerd.
Do you not have TikTok? But yeah, I mean, So yeah, then I like started going into this whole like spiel about like what I thought it was, and did feel kind of like a nerd and just like, why am I even telling you? I don't think that he even cares, like,
Yeah.
you know. But I mean, he was like, yeah, I haven't seen any of that.
So does your one brother who's into it, does he listen to the show?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So he was the one that I went to Phenomicon the first year with.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he always, in fact, he has a neighbor that, I need to get his number, but his neighbor, like his next door neighbor across the street, was a paranormal investigator for a number of years and has like a bunch of crazy stories, I guess.
Where does he live?
Like Mill Creek.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Central location.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll have to get his information and see if he wants to come and tell us some ghost stories.
Dude, that'd be dope.
Yeah. And my brother was telling me about like a recording. They went and investigated the Ogden train station.
Oh, yeah.
Railroad. Big hub out there, and
Yeah.
they got quite a few cool EVPs.
Ooh.
So
It's got to bring him with so we can
yeah,
put him on the video.
yeah. But yeah, I do feel like a kind of a nerd when I go on rants about shit. But I do find myself like having just the most unusual facts to pop up for people.
It's cool. Like the other night, I was sitting here having dinner with my parents, and we were talking about the moon landing, and I got to espouse my opinion of like, I think the version of the moon landing you see is a fake, but I do believe they did go to the moon. They just showed you this version because they went to the moon and saw fucking aliens.
Yeah.
So they couldn't show you that.
Yeah.
And so the room gets kind of quiet when you do that, and you're just like, am I saying too much? Or
Of course, I'm the weird one, huh?
I mean, I'm accepting of that. I know I'm the fucking weird one, but that's okay. Like, I like what I like, you know? And I won't ever feel bad about it.
Yeah, I have conversations with my family, and they're like, they always laugh at me and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, part of it, half of it's a joke, and half of it's like, it's just the things that I'm coming up with halfway on the spot. Like,
Yeah.
do I really believe them? Yeah, not necessarily, but it's fun to think about.
Yeah. Well, and it's like I've talked to my sister about it a little bit, and she kind of went on a tangent and listened to some of the episodes and was talking to me about it, and she just like openly admitted, she's like, I only really listen to the ones that I know things about. Like, she's like, I don't even know what Skinwalker Ranch is, so I didn't listen to it. I was like, that's fair, but if you listen to it, you'll learn about it, you know? So it's even on that sense, you know, where family is involved with this whole thing, where I get it, you know, you're kind of choosy or whatever. The ones that bother me, to be honest, are the people that are like your close friends that have not listened to one episode, and you're like, that's, dude, if you had a podcast, I'd listen to all your shit. You know? And you
Or
kind
if people have been on the show and haven't listened to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never understand that one. I did though, a couple weeks ago when Spotify does their year-end wrap, and I had all these people sending me screenshots of their Spotify Wrapped, and it was like I was their number one podcast, and I was like, you guys are getting Christmas cards.
Yeah, I'll have to check out mine. It's
I'm-
going to be a close tie between Dave-Inci's Code and
Joe
JRE,
Rogan.
probably.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I mean, mostly because his are super long also, and like when I blow through our episodes, I have to have something to listen to.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I mean, it's a time constraint thing because you can only record so many in a week, you know.
Yeah, and we're not doing these every single day.
No, and he's doing them every single day, or
Yeah.
at least every other day, and he's doing 2 or 3 in a day, and it's like, of course you can do that. You don't work a DuPont schedule.
Yeah, yeah. As we just have to take our equipment to the fucking out to old work and
I've debated it.
set up in one of the mixing rooms or something.
There's like 10 dudes over there drinking kava.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, what are you guys talking about?
This is Dave-Inci's code in the mix.
You just see Five Polly's like, what are you guys doing, dude?
Yeah, I mean, what else did we do? The fishbowl ones were fun.
I did like the fishbowl. They weren't popular, but I enjoyed doing them
Yeah.
because it was just like, just having a bunch of random topics just to riff on,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for an hour and a half or whatever was enjoyable. Because there are times when you do the longer form episodes on one subject that you always have that moment where the conversation veers totally away and you talk about 20 other things versus like the fishbowl thing that doesn't happen because you're just on these one topics for 5-6 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
And that's something I would actually like to do more, but have an actual fishbowl with just like 100 topics in it.
You know what would be interesting to do is if we could get like people that interact with us on social media, like if they submitted shit for us to put into the fishbowl.
Dude, I thought about that same thing. There's not enough following now,
Yeah.
but maybe by the end of next year there might be. Because I thought about like this same episode, how cool would it be if it was more fan interacted? Like if there was, you know, let's say 100,000 subscribers or whatever, where they could just submit end of the year questions of like, hey, in this one episode you guys talked about this, but you know, I have this question about that or whatever. Like that would have been really cool.
Yeah.
And that may be years down the road, and that's totally fine with me, but I think something like that would be cool where other people could get their question answered,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would watch that episode predicated on getting their question answered.
Yeah. It's kind of like those TikTok live things where they're interacting with the people, but just more in a format of like maybe not even end of year, maybe like end of the quarter or end of the month,
Yeah,
or once a month type thing.
that would
If
be
we
cool.
had that many people putting in shit for us to, or questioning our beliefs.
I think it would just be like the same 4 people just
Yeah.
nonstop asking questions, or they would ask like one and then log off.
Yeah. Dude, that's fine. Just come on the show if you have that much to say. Just come on.
Yeah, dude, like this
We'll
is
talk to
this is a pretty open forum, you know, and I have had people ask me like, "Hey, can I come on and do an episode?" Like, yeah. Have you listened to any? No. Then no. I'm sorry. Like,
Well, then fuck off.
if you can't show a little bit of support for me, how can I show support for you, kind of thing?
Yeah.
You know, it's almost insulting. Like it's not a big channel or anything like that, but it's just like, and I know it sounds kind of petty, but if we're that close of friends, but you're not supporting what I do, even though I would support what you do thing, and I feel guilty for feeling like that, but at the same time, like, should I? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I have the same kind of guilt for not spreading stuff on social media. It's just not something that I do. But
That's why I don't take that personally from you, because you're just not like you're not on social media a lot. Like you kind of use it a little passively.
yeah.
So I'm not like, fuck, oh, dude, why aren't you sharing the videos? Like you're watching them. I can see that you're watching them. That counts for something.
Yeah, I've seen the ones you put on TikTok, and that's about it. Like, I'll log into Instagram maybe like once every 3 months, and like, oh shit, there's all these videos I haven't looked on in here.
Well, they're the same clips. You know what I mean?
But yeah,
I will say that's one of my favorite parts about when I go on and do the editing of the video, where because I have to sit through the whole thing and navigate the different cameras, and then I'll come across a funny moment, like, oh, that's a perfect social media clip.
yeah,
And so I just quick export it and then post it. And within a couple of days, like, I'm actually having interactions with them where
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano,
I don't know if you guys know, but Gina Carano follows us on TikTok, or follows Dave-Inci's code.
it's a fake account, but It's fine. It's fine with me.
No, it's not. It's not a bot, dude.
It appeases my celebrity crush. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we should just like create a bunch of celebrity accounts and then follow ourselves.
Dude. Oh, did I tell you I got a TikTok profile view from a porn star?
Really?
Indica Flowers.
Oh, I thought it'd be like Lex Steele or something. I know who Indica Flowers is, though.
Yeah, I got a profile view. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why that like made me feel warm and tingly inside, but I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Did you support her channel?
I mean,
follow back.
I can't use the hub anymore without verification.
Sad.
It's sad. There's plenty of other ones. No, I was just like, that's cool, you know. Or got the first hater on TikTok.
True.
Big milestone.
True.
So apparently it's like childish if you use the word gay to refer to something as like stupid.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up in a time where that was what everybody said, right?
Yeah.
I was like, that's gay.
Yeah.
I mean, people still use it like Shane Gillis and like a lot of those comedians will call things gay. And it's like they're not homophobic, they're just using that, almost taking back the word that they used to use, you know, just like you can create a word like crunk to mean something, or, you know.
Or like if you're referring to weed as dank.
Yeah.
Like, to me, when I hear the word dank, I think about like a cold, wet, moldy basement.
Yeah, or use the word spaz as like you're going crazy. Like, you can't use that. That's you know, referring to somebody that has disabilities. Is it?
Yeah, you're being a spaz right now, dude.
Yeah.
Now, Joe Rogan's got the perfect bit about calling things gay. He's like, I've never used it in a way to like offend anybody who's gay. And I'm not trying to. But what other fucking word are we going to use for shit that's gay?
Yeah. Yeah, we got to take back our words, dude. Like, that's why I'm using the words tight.
Tight.
That's so tight.
Yeah, but even that's kind of weird. Like, you can call something tight as though it's cool or awesome. Is a super tight shirt awesome? No, it's not.
Unless you're gay.
Gay!
Yeah, we're gonna get shadow banned for sure, dude.
That's okay. There's always Rumble.
Yeah. True.
Oh, got a positive comment on YouTube. The first comment. That wasn't, one of us. It was on the Manosphere episode where this guy was like, it's nice to see two sane men talk about this conversation. And I was like, hold on with that fucking word sane.
Sane. Have you seen the rest of our shit?
We're talking about aliens and ghosts and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that was definitely kind of a positive affirmation. Like, just some rando person on YouTube decided to watch this whole video and then left a positive comment. I was like, that's great.
That's cool.
I mean, it's better than just getting all hate mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge milestones. Got a hater, got a supporter, porn stars following.
I think we're up, dude.
Dude, we're up for the year.
Only one hater and 4 or 5 positive things.
It's true.
Okay, we'll see what next year brings, I guess.
Yeah, like, we're going to get alien disclosure. This channel's just going to blow
up. We're ahead of we're like, there's this wave coming and we're just fucking surfing right on top. We're just like,
we're surf ninjas
catch a vibe.
Surf ninjas.
Yeah.
We're like Point Breaking this shit.
Yeah. You're Dalton. I'm Johnny Utah.
Bodie.
Who's Dalton?
That was Patrick Swayze from Roadhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Roadhouse.
Wrong movie, right guy.
Same person.
Yeah.
Just one of them works in a bar and the other one robs banks.
Yeah, same diff.
Yeah.
Great you can be Johnny. No, you're Johnny Utah.
I could see you as more of the Bodhi. You're more the spiritual person, like,
Catch a ride and let's ride and catch a wave.
I am an FBI agent.
Who was even in the remake?
You know what's funny is I just watched it a couple weeks ago, and it was like, this movie isn't as bad as I remember, but it's still not good.
Yeah. I haven't seen it.
Like the most noteworthy character or actor, I should say, was Ray Winstone. He did the animated version of Beowulf. He was in The Departed. He was in King Arthur. He's been in a lot of movies. He's a really good actor.
It's not the guy with the scars on his face?
No, that's I think you're thinking of the guy from Sons of Anarchy.
Probably.
No, he was in The Departed. He was the right-hand man of Costello.
Okay.
What are you drinking? Cranberry juice? You on your period?
Yeah.
That guy. Yeah, he was the Gary Busey character, so he's only in the movie for like 4 minutes.
Well, I don't know why they just use Gary Busey again.
Too busy talking about buttered sausages.
You want to talk about buttered sausages? Dude, do you have any lips?
Not with those teeth.
So many things. You can definitely go through, do sequels to like action movies and scary movies.
So I actually want to, this coming year, expand more of the YouTube stuff. So I was kind of looking at like the way our schedule works, how we can produce a good amount of podcast episodes, but also produce YouTube content. And so there's a lot of stuff that I want to do that I think would just be so much fun to do. Like, you'll watch these channels where they watch a movie and they just fucking rip on it the whole time. Like, I think that'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
Or for the paranormal aspect, I did do an episode very early on about ghost hunting equipment. And I thought, you know what would be way cooler than that is to do a series of videos where each video we take one piece of equipment and we talk about what it is, how it works, and then we find ways to debunk it and ways to test it and things like that. That'll be A, scientific, and B, hilarious.
Yeah.
And some of it would just be a method to show of it's not just how it works, but how it can be affected by other objects. You know, you think about like the dowsing rods. So let's say you've got Scott sitting on the floor where he's not going to have, you know, his stance and sway affect him or anything like that. But sitting next to him is a stationary mount for dowsing rods. And you're going to go through the same thing that you would do like in a live investigation, and you're going to see if both sets do the same thing, or if it's just his set, or if it's just the mechanically held set, where you're eliminating all human variables.
But comparing the two side by side, yeah.
But yeah, and then you're also throwing other caveats in there to prove that there's no like foul play. Like you'll put anemometers around them to show that there's no wind drift or anything like that that can be affecting them. And you can do multiple camera angles to show like one overhead and one here to see that nobody's behind them and nobody's messing around with it or anything like that. So you have an actual control in the scientific method to go, this is what they do, this is how they work, these are things that can affect them, here's an actual test. You know, and I thought that would be kind of fun.
That would be cool.
And it would also show that even though we joke around with the paranormal stuff and we don't take it super seriously, we take it serious enough to be objective.
Yeah.
And not just be like, oh, did you see the dowsing rods move? Had to be a demon.
Scott, are you possessed right now?
Look at these scratches.
They're right here.
Right where I'm scratched. When I edited that fucking video and I had that scene, it was like, look at the scratches on my back. You're like, they're right where I'm scratching. And I just started laughing.
You know what we should do also is like record some trailers for our
shows. Dude. Swamp Cups.
Just do like a trailer for Swamp Cops.
So that actually plays in perfect to an idea that I was given. So I was joking around with Scott and Sissy a few weeks ago. And me and Scott, we do this weird thing where we like throw on these accents and like make up bullshit commercials for terrible products.
Yeah.
You know, like a pharmaceutical. Side effects include, you know, and then just go through a whole list of shit that's totally unrelated. And he's like, dude, we should just make like commercials for the stupid shit that we come up with. I was like, that's fucking genius.
Yeah.
And Sissy's like, yeah, you should use those in your podcast.
Use them as commercial breaks.
Yeah, as commercial breaks. And I was like,
now, a word from our sponsor.
well, we have
Are you experiencing erectile dysfunction?
cheap Viagra, over the counter. It's 2 popsicle sticks and a Band-Aid. Side effects may include stickiness and a slight rash.
It's like Blue Chew, but it's green gum.
Well, me and him have like an ongoing one. It's like a QVC channel. But it's called Dave's Quality Products, and we do it in like the worst Boston accent. We're like, here are Dave's Quality Products.
She's gonna buy a bunch of dumb shit off of Temu.
But it's like, the joke is we sell all these bullshit products as a cover-up to the fact that we're running a human trafficking ring.
Buy one of these, you get 4 6-year-olds. Don't cancel us.
It's just like that, honestly. And we'll go off on this shit for fucking hours. And I was like, dude, this is like perfect content.
Yeah.
It should just go right into the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dig it.
Oh, God. It makes me giggle just thinking about it.
Yeah. We do, well, me, Pat, and Stitch would do kind of a similar thing where we just like make up taglines for movies. In a world where we're like narrating somebody doing something fucking stupid. Yeah.
No, I love the idea of the trailers for the shows.
Yeah.
Like, Swamp Cops has to be first.
Yeah.
It is just us wearing big aviators walking in slow motion everywhere we go.
Then you get some leather dusters.
Ooh. But we're sweating the whole time. Yeah, so we're gonna film this like ASAP.
Yeah, I mean, I'm off until Friday, so
We're gonna have to hit up the DI, see if we can find some dusters.
Yeah.
No, dude, you wear a duster. I'm gonna wear like the cheesiest '90s motorcycle jacket
yeah,
that's like studded everywhere.
like a Fonzie jacket.
Yeah, just like that.
Hell yeah.
I dig it. I dig it.
Big things.
Big
Stay
things
tuned.
coming. So yeah, would you say that was my phone. What was your least favorite episode?
I want to say my least favorite episode was Zombies because I fucking wasn't there.
Okay, so we need a reboot.
No, just do a sequel.
Okay, yeah.
We'll do a sequel to Zombies. I don't know. I think that the one that I had the hardest time with was probably...
I bet we got the same answer. Go ahead.
I was going to say the Manosphere.
Ah, no.
But it wasn't that it was just because I was trying... I think maybe I was looking at it from a different perspective and I couldn't stand the fucking people. But then I realized that's the point.
Yeah.
And then was okay with it after that. But like, I think that one was hard for me. What were you going to say?
So on the Manosphere one, that's still fully in my YouTube algorithm, those videos. And I catch myself watching them all the time. But it's not like I'm purposely watching their videos. I'm watching people rip on their videos.
Yeah.
Except for I did watch a Joey Stacks one last night. I got like 3 minutes into it. And I'm like, God, this is terrible. I feel like I would have a better time pulling out my toenails with a pair of pliers than watch this.
Yeah. I think maybe we're going to have to go through some of the videos and see what all of our ideas were. Because we did talk about doing like some alpha male shit.
Yeah, we did. And there's a lot of things that we talked about buried in a lot of videos
Yeah.
and episodes that we kind of have to try to revisit. So that's like my plan for January and February is to re-listen to every episode and like try to capture all those things. As for least favorite episode, and I say this with absolute love, but the horror movie episode where Yeg was fucking trashed and just yelling the whole time. That one was kind of hard. Like at the time, it was funny because I was there, but trying to listen to it is like, I should delete this. This is so bad.
Yeah.
Wait! What? No! You're just like, calm the fuck down, dude.
Yeah. Maybe we should limit the amount of liquor that is there, I guess. Or, I don't know. I still thought it was funny. It is hard to listen to, though.
Yeah, that's the only reason that it was the. I don't even want to say the worst one. It's difficult to listen to, because at the time it was funny. I remember laughing a lot just because like anybody would say anything, and yeah, he's like, hold on, just like losing his shit over the stupidest thing. And yeah, it was hilarious. But I tried to listen to it before I posted it, and I was like, this is bad. Nobody's gonna hear this one. But then,
with the beauty of video now, though, we can like use those clips.
Oh, perfect B-roll footage. But I do remember a couple people, like Sissy and Preston, both came up to me, like right after that episode was published, like, how fucked up was Yeg? And it was like, he was gone.
Yeah.
He was refusing water and food. That's how you know he was fucking gone.
Yeah. How do you refuse Kentucky Fried Chicken?
Dude, especially when you've been drinking.
Especially when you've been drinking all day long.
Right?
Because we started at what, like 10 in the morning?
Yeah, we went all day on that one.
Yeah.
I think we did 3 episodes.
Yeah. Time travel. We did time travel that day also. That was a fun one.
Yeah, and I think that one merits a sequel too, because of the whole Antarctica thing that's going on now and all that. Like, there's a whole lot more material there to cover.
Yeah.
And a lot more time travel movies.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I think that this year was fun, and it was a huge kind of a learning thing for all of us. And
it was. I mean, there's no blueprint on like, hey, how to start a podcast, especially when you have such a wide variety of topics where a lot of podcasts are very niche. You know,
Yeah.
It's like if you talk about true crime, it's all true crime. Or
Yeah.
if you talk about serial killers, it's all serial killers. You know, when you have such a diverse array of topics, there's no like protocol for it.
yeah. And that was one thing I was going to talk about too, is like we made it a whole year without doing one single fucking true crime thing.
As I've said before, true crime is not my bag.
Yeah.
You have a lot of wine drinking white women doing podcasts on that. Just go find one of those.
I wonder if it's just because they like to bring up old shit. Like, yeah, I know the story. We know the outcome. I don't need to see the fucking whole 3-hour series of why Ted Bundy was a serial killer. He was a fucking crazy person.
He was a psycho. I mean,
Yeah.
that's always kind of the distinction I've had with kind of being interested in true crime versus interested in the more paranormal stuff that we're into. It's kind of like, for me, I'm not saying true crime is not interesting, it's not entertaining, and it sure can be. I couldn't ingest it on the level that a lot of people do. But it's like you already know the outcome, and you already know that humans are garbage.
Yeah.
So at least with paranormal stuff or aliens or whatever, like there's a great amount of frontier unknown that makes it so much more interesting to me than just being like, this person died, that person did it. Cool, we got that out of the way. What's the deal with UAPs, you know?
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's like they're both conditions of human psyche, and like looking at it in an interesting way, but one is more of this happened and this was the story of what happened, and the other one is this happened and we have no fucking idea what it is. Let's think about it.
Yeah, I like the mystery aspect of
Yeah.
it so much more, and more often than not, I would be watching something with true crime or listening to something because I was being exposed to it, and you're kind of intrigued for a little while, and then the ending comes about, and you're like, now I feel fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, like the Chris, what's his face, they did a Netflix documentary on him. The guy, he murdered his 2 daughters and his pregnant wife.
Oh.
Yeah, like you get through all that because you're enthralled in the mystery. Like, what happened to him? And then you find out the ending, and you're like, I feel like an asteroid should just hit the planet right now. This is terrible.
Right.
You know, versus at least with aliens, you still have that great unknown, or Ghost, you have the great unknown of this could be anything.
There's so much room for speculation. Like,
Yeah, and I think theoreticizing is so much more fun than just knowing the truth.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the hunt is better than the kill kind of thing.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. Like, some people crave the kill and some people crave the hunt.
Yeah, and the hunt is the pursuit, and if the pursuit is never ending, your passion for it won't really die,
Yeah.
I think.
We solved it.
Solved it. Human nature in a bubble.
Yep.
Now we're experts on paranormal, aliens, and human nature.
We should. That's 3 PhDs.
3. Pippin Hose degree.
You're dealing with 2 triple PhDs here.
Dude, it's true. I mean, you got scientists just banging on the door right now. Like, hey, help us solve it. Yeah, there's a line out there.
We're almost done.
We're sharing.
Oh yeah, I think that I'm excited.
I am super excited for the stuff that's coming in this next year.
Yeah.
Granted, we're recording this on the 30th,
Yeah.
but I'll post this one on New Year's Day, and then the next episode will be out on the first Monday, which I thought about changing because the first episode was supposed to come out on Monday because it was the first day of the year, and it ended up being 2 days early because I couldn't figure out the scheduling on the website. But I was like, you know what? I like that they come out on Monday. So if you're one of those weirdos who works a normal schedule, like Monday morning you have a fresh episode.
Yeah.
And if it's a long one or whatever, it may take you a couple of days to finish it. You know, it's kind of a little contribution to help 9 to 5 people get through their week.
Yeah.
If that's the way your schedule works. I mean,
Yeah, I usually burn through our episodes on overtime days pretty quick.
yeah, I mean, I used to listen to them at work, but I've gotten to the point where because I edit them, I have to listen to it at least twice just to edit it, and then I'm good. But once in a while, like when there's a really good episode, I'm like, I'm going to listen to that one again.
Yeah.
You know, or if there was just funny shit in there, you know, and then I just need a laugh. Like, I know I was there for that joke, but I want to hear it again anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's like re-listening to a stand-up episode. You know the punchline, but you still fucking laugh.
Right.
It's great. But yeah, is there anything in particular you really want to cover this coming year?
So at some point, I think that we should do a Bigfoot episode, Sasquatch, just because Sasquatch, Bigfoot takes up so much of this paranormal space that we navigate ourselves through. But Les Stroud is doing a new documentary
Yeah,
on Bigfoot. It's supposed to be.
we're gonna do it way better.
Yeah. I mean, we could even go and do some Bigfoot hunting ourselves.
I'm down. There's some spots here in Utah where Bigfoot's been spotted. Like, let's go check them out.
Yeah.
I mean, not right now. It's cold outside, but
Well, yeah.
you know, like April or May.
I mean, we could do the cold ones now, like as long as there's a road that drives through it. Yeah, we took a drive through there, didn't see a fucking Bigfoot.
We're like driving up the road. Yeah, it's supposed to be like 1,000 yards that way.
Didn't find
Yeah, let's
Bigfoot,
go.
but we got a Big Mac.
Let's go get a beer. Yeah, no, Bigfoot's a big one. I've been kind of putting that one off because editing skills weren't quite there yet. So part of the reason of this setup is I wanted to be able to use the TV to where if there was reference photos or videos or whatever, I could just pop them up there, but I could also put them right on my computer so I could edit them into the video.
Yeah.
So whoever's watching, all 7 of them, can also see what we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of why I was holding off on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to cover more location stuff like Sedona, Arizona, or the Valley of Silence in Mexico,
Yeah.
Gobekli Tepe.
Have you seen? Oh man, I can't remember what the name of the town is, but it's like it's either Nevada or Southern California. This like city that has like a pyramid there, and there's a set of stairs that goes downstairs, like into.
Oh,
the
I know what you're
ground.
talking about. Yeah.
I'll have to look up what the name of the city is, but we should cover that.
Yeah, there's a really weird city here in Utah too. I have it written down. Where it's weird and like the people in the town don't talk to anybody from outside the town. The name is just like dancing around in my brain. I can't catch it. But yeah, stuff like that I think is really cool,
Yeah.
especially when you can inject the pictures or video and things like that into what we're talking about,
Mhm.
you know. But yeah, those are cool. Again, more people with new insights and things like that would be really cool too. But I also kind of like the idea of bringing somebody in who's interested in some of these things but doesn't know anything, and we get to educate them on it. Like, dude, do you know about Dugway? Oh, no, I don't. Let me learn you something.
Maybe we should get a seat belt for these chairs so they can strap themselves in.
Strap in, it's going to be a fun ride. JK, now we're going to sell you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely some location stuff. 'Cause there's all around the world, there's so many weird places.
Oh,
And
yeah. Mount
I think that's
Shasta.
cool too, to like, you know, even just thinking about like somebody seeing a video and they're like, holy shit, that's just like right here. And then going and kind of looking into it themselves.
Yeah, and I think very niche things like that, and I've noticed in watching some of the trends in some of the episodes where I tend to believe that people are doing the same people we're doing. They're listening to other people talk about it so that they can get notes for their own podcast or whatever, or their own video. And so you'll see like certain spikes in certain episodes that are a little bit more niche that they're trying to get some knowledge in. And so it would be cool, you know, for more stuff like that too, where other people are going, I want to learn more about Sedona, Arizona, but I don't want to do a lot of research. Oh shit, here's one on Spotify.
Yeah.
And then they just get driven to that channel, you
Mhm.
know. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I've definitely found quite a few podcasts that I listen to pretty regularly now.
Oh, I have
from
too.
doing
Yeah.
research. One is, have you listened to the, what is that kid's name? We always talk about him. The haunted paranormal kid, the long hair.
The blonde one?
Yeah.
Oh, I always forget his name because his channel sucks so bad.
It's something paranormal.
Yeah.
But he has a podcast. I don't know if you ever listened to
I
that.
don't think I have.
And it's he talks mostly about like, well, a lot of the ones that I've listened to, they're like political corruption, conspiracy theories.
Okay.
But like he goes on a deep dive of the Clintons and stuff like that, and it's really
That would be
like,
way more interesting than his paranormal stuff.
oh, it is. And he like goes into like sex trafficking rings and shit
Mhm.
like that. He actually does a really good job of his.
Interesting.
But I was listening to it on Spotify, which I know that he also does like a kind of like we do
Mm-hmm.
here with the video and the Spotify at the same time. So like on the one that I was listening to on Spotify, there was like all these sound effects that went along with the video that
Mm-hmm.
were kind of distracting, but like a lot of information that's really. He does a lot of research, it seems,
Yeah.
for his shit. So
I think that's kind of like when I first found the Y-Files. I listened to the podcast, and there's a lot of, like you said, sound effects and things like that that just don't jive with the audio. But when you watch the video, it makes sense because he's, playing a clip, or you're actually seeing hecklefish or whatever. Versus if you're just listening to it, you're like, God, what is this? This is fucking dumb.
yeah,
Then you watch the video and you're just enamored with it, which I get. I love that show.
yeah. I'll be listening to it like at the gym, and then so I'll just set my phone like in one of the little cubbies and go around doing whatever workout, and then he'll be talking about something, and I know that he's showing a video, and I'll just walk over there and like rewind it, sit there and watch it for like 2 minutes. Oh, okay, that's what he's talking about.
I dig it. Like when I'm using the Y-Files to cheat on my research, and I'm like writing down notes every time they play a clip. I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
What was I writing?
Yeah, this next year's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. Uh-oh.
Hello?
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 Hi, good sir. Am I speaking with the homeowner?
Yeah.
Hi, sir. This is Malcolm, and I'm calling with Natural Duct and HVAC here. This is the local air duct cleaning service, and we did a cleaning of air supply. We found that, sir, we're giving out a 50% discount on cleaning all the air supply, following with a full free inspection of your AC unit with 1 year service warranty. Also, booking an appointment today can get you a cleaning of the drivers absolutely free. Sir, may I know how many central AC unit you have in your home, sir? Hello?
What?
Sorry, sir, how many?
How many what?
Sir, how many central AC unit you have in your home, sir?
Well, I've seen 2 or 3 of the UAPs flying over the house here.
Sorry, sir? Hello?
I've seen 2 or 3 of the UAPs flying over the house here.
Sir, this is the cleaning of your HVAC system.
Well, the HUAVs, right?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I saw 2 of the drones last night. I took a video if you'd like to see.
Alright, sir, but this is the best time to the cleaning of your duct system, I mean HVAC system, because you can have all this service done for just $179 as per unit as our part of our promotional offers, sir. And usually this type of cleaning is not less than $358, but you can take advantage of it only for $179.
Well, I'll send you the video for free. You don't have to pay for it.
Sir, actually, sir, uh,
It's actually posted on Dave-Inci's code. Just check out the link in my bio.
are you interested?
Just check out the link in my bio and hit subscribe. Give it a thumbs up.
Right. All right, sir.
All right, bye. I don't know why they call me still.
Oh my God. I think the timing on that was fortuitous, considering we had just recorded the UAP episode before this and said then next time you get the call, talk to them about UAPs. And you haven't had a call in fucking forever.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was fucking perfect.
New year, new me, I guess.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the shit out of it.
Anyways, more skits to come, I guess.
More skits to come. Stay tuned. I'm glad you're my podcast partner.
Me too. It's been fun, and it's going to be fun.
And it's only just started.
Yeah.
Oh my. All right, let's pull the plug there. Okay, love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was fucking beautiful.
Oh,